Hi everyone and welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Power of the Primes Voyager class Dinobot Grimlock. And the first thing I want to take a look at in this review is the box itself, because whilst yes the packaging does look nice, and if we flip it around to the back you can see what you can do with some of these, like you got Micronus here and Vector Prime and stuff. You can see what they do and you can see how the Prime Masters can interact with the accessories included. So obviously here we have a pair of what are quite obviously Combiner feet. Power of the Primes line is, just like Combiner Wars, a Combiner line. Now it's not focused on it, but that functionality is still there. So Grimlock and the other Dinobots do combine together to form this guy, which I, off the top of my head, can't actually remember the name of yet. But he does look really, really cool. And the only problem is, it doesn't actually tell you that anywhere on this box. So you have this picture here, but there's no picture on here of any other Dinobots. The underside is completely unutilized, and this whole side of the box, there's absolutely nothing on there whatsoever. So they could have used that space to, show at least 3 other Dinobots there. And maybe the bottom of the box as well, and then at least have something on the back of the box here to describe that it is a combiner and that you can combine it with other things. Even the bio simply says, how will the legendary Dinobot leader wield the power of the Primes? I don't know. That's what I want you to tell me. And it doesn't. And it doesn't say anything about the combiners, which to me just really sucks. And it's the whole point of packaging is not only to promote what's inside of it, but also to promote what it can do and to help, spread marketing and awareness and advertise the other products in the line. That's really what product packaging is used for, and they haven't done it. And it's a really big box. It's a Voyager figure, so why they didn't do it, God only knows. But anyway, let's get into this thing. Let's take a closer look. And here you have Grimlock out of the packaging. Now, this is both a really fantastic toy and kind of a terrible one in the same batch. It's kind of a mixed lot here. I have very varied opinions on this. Every time I look at this thing from a different angle, I find something I like about it and something I dislike about it. And the main reason I think I find things that are wrong with these guys is because of the combiner. Whenever you have something that combines, let's say you take Devastator or Bruticus or something, those designs are amazing and they work really well because they come from construction vehicles and military vehicles. Those things are very blocky and they work really well for a combiner, but for a Dinobot, there's meant to be a lot more smooth edges and stuff. Doesn't really work as well when you get into combiner forms, and especially, look at the back here. We have a crotch piece that's literally just sitting on the back of this Transformer. Obviously, it has nothing to do with Grimlock, it's only meant for the combiner form. And then you've got all these hinges and bits in here, which underneath here lies the combiner mode's head. There's just a lot more going on that makes this mode really, really compromised. If you look at the underside of this thing, you're seeing the stickers that they've put on here, which makes it have that very G1 feel, which again, I think it really makes me love the design because it has that very kind of 80s look and feel to it. But then I kind of hate the design as well, because the whole reason that we don't put as much stickers on toys anymore is because we've got better printing technology and molding technology. And these colors and these designs could have looked so much better if they were molded and actually printed or painted onto this thing, as opposed to it being stickers. And they're going to last a lot longer. These things will at some point come off, and they're kind of very cheaply applied. You kind of have to smooth them down yourself. And also, like the Autobot logo that's actually on Grimlock's head, it's on a ridged piece of plastic there, as you can see. So that thing isn't going to last very long. So there's just certain things like that that's really annoying. If this wasn't a combiner, and if they took the money instead of using stickers and put it into better paint and everything on this thing, and just, you could have had such a smoother, sleeker, very, very awesome Dinobot looking design without all the combiner crap. And have this thing look really, really amazing. Here is the card that it comes with. You see, look at this. Look at how smooth and incredible this is. And they could have actually got it looking pretty damn close to this artwork if it didn't have all the other combiner hinges and stuff. On the other back, you just see what the Prime Master does to this thing. Now, these feet in this mode, obviously, they don't really have anything to do. And here with the Prime Master, you just basically chuck that in there. And you've got the ports on the side here. That's pretty much the only place that you can really put them. And they're obviously going to look pretty terrible, so there's not really anything that you can utilize in this mode for that. The tail looks good, it's chunky, and it's long, and you know, in general, proportion-wise, you look at it side-on, looks fantastic. Look at it from the front, it looks fantastic, although he does, because of the tail and because there's less articulation, because this stuff here is in the way, because of it being a combiner, you can't have him really looking up, so he's always kind of bent over. You can't actually, you know, get him upwards so that you can really see all of this awesome detail. One thing I do love about these figures is we have that, you know, going back to the G1 kind of style. You got the gold plastic with the clear plastic over the top. I absolutely adore that, and that's the main reason why I bought these. We're going back to G1, and look at that head sculpt. I mean, that is a perfect G1 Grimlock head sculpt. Now, if you personally want blue eyes on him, then just go ahead and paint yourself some blue eyes in there. It's not exactly all that hard. Really, really fantastic articulation of the mouthpiece here. You can open it up really, really wide, which is awesome, way further than what you would want it to go, so that's really great. Now the arms, unfortunately, the crevice inside there, it only has a gap which allows the arms to come down like this, so if you want them to go forward, they have to rotate up as well, and they're just way out to the side, and it just looks terrible. So the only good-looking place to have the arms, and the only place that they really work, is just down like that, which kind of sucks, but there you go. In terms of the legs, because of that tail, there's not really all that much that you can do with these pose-wise. You can bring them forward, and then you've got these two joints to work with here. So you've got this joint up here, and then this joint here. But they turn that way. They bend upwards. And as far as a leg goes, you want it to bend back. So really, you can only utilize this top joint. But like I say, because of that tail, you can make him bend down like that, but you can't utilize, you know, going all the way back that way. So you're a bit limited. He pretty much has the one pose. You can bring him down, you can put his face forward, but really, you can only really just do that with him, because anything else with the legs is either going to fall over or he's just not going to look quite right. So there's the articulation's there, but there's just kind of compromises in this mode that could have made this so much better. But anyway, let's take a look at the robot mode for this guy, because it is a pretty damn cool one, and it's one of the saving graces about this figure. So what we're going to do first, let's see, we remove this headpiece. So pull that up, there we go. It's just tabbed in there. Bring that round to the back, and that will secure in place. And you can also lift this piece up. Actually, I'll do that right now. Lift this piece up here. It's on the double hinge. Everything's really tight on this figure, which I really like, but at the same time, very annoying. There we go. There we are. So that tabs itself up there, and we can bring the head down, and that'll sit on the back just like so. You can leave that down, but I like to bring it up, and you'll see why in robot mode. So then what we're going to do over here is untab these sections here, and they just go at the back there, and they sync up with the head and kind of lock that in right there. Then this hole, let me just bring the camera up for a second. There we go. This whole center section will untab and hinge upwards, and it'll lock into place. There's a tab at the back, and they tab together at the front as well. Next up here, we have the hands in the arms. They're on the inside here. They are really, really, really hard. There's not really a good point to grab to pull them out. I really do like that things are ratcheted and really tight joints and everything on this figure, but a lot of it is just so excessive, and a little kid isn't going to be able to do this. At least with the figure that I've got, all the joints are really, really super tight, and it's really hard to get these things out. There you go. That was a lot of work just to get one hand out, and it just shouldn't be like that. It's just, this one's even tighter. Wow, I seriously just had to wrestle to get this one out. Basically, on the back of the knuckles here, you can see there's these ridges, and that's kind of what you can use to like put your nail in and push it out. But you haven't got much leverage. You'd have much more leverage if you could pull the end of the fist, but that really gets underneath this plastic ridge here, so you just can't get to that. It's just really, really tough. But anyway, moving on now, all you have to do is just these tails flip up just like so, and then you just separate the legs from each other, and that is pretty much it. Then you have Grimlock in the robot mode, and this guy looks fantastic. This is just Generation 1 Grimlock at his finest. Obviously, the legs here, you can see we have some great detail on the inside there. They're not super hollow or anything like that. Neither are the arms, really. The sections where the fists do come out from is so small in there. That's obviously part of the reason why it makes it really hard to transform, because it's so small you can't really get anything in to get the fists out. But there's no hollowness or anything to the figure. Yes, you do have some of this back kibble here with the head and the these sections, these side bits, but that's what's supposed to be there. That's what G1 Grimlock looks like. So there's not really any kibble besides this stupid crotch plate from the combiner, which, as I was saying, you can leave it down, but by bringing it up, it just, yeah, it would look pretty terrible from the front if that wasn't moved up. In this mode, you can see they do actually have the molded Autobot logo there much more clearly. But yeah, I just really wish that there were less stickers. These would look amazing if these were painted on and are much more visible in this mode. Obviously, they would be on the underside of the tail in the Dino mode. But yeah, overall, this thing looks absolutely awesome. And in this mode, you can actually utilize these pretty well. So they clip onto the sides of the arms, which obviously were his legs in the Dino mode. And then you have these kind of big claws on here, and I think that works really well. It doesn't look too bad. You could put something else on this port if you wanted to. Obviously, you can have little Titan Masters sitting in here, because they are the same shape and size and everything as these little Prime Masters. I think overall this mode is just pretty much perfect. He's got great articulation. The head can look up, it can look down a little bit, and left and right as well. The shoulders here are fantastic, come all the way out, and they are ratcheted because they are the hips for the dinosaur mode. And obviously you've got the combiner modes and everything, so you need some ratchets in there for some good strength. You've got the double jointed elbow, which in this mode obviously you can properly utilize, and you have the rotation there as well. The hands move in a little bit, but that's not really anything. You do actually have a proper waist rotation. The hips are also ratcheted here, forward and back, and all the way out to the side. Oh, I kind of separated him a little bit there. And then you have the rotation there as well. And then you just have the knee, which is also ratcheted as well, which has fantastic range of motion to that 90-degree point. Obviously, the legs, the feet, it's all kind of mushed together. This is one of the combiner ports right here. But yeah, this guy, it's fantastic. And the Dino mode, whilst it does have some drawbacks, it is a fantastic mode, and really the Dinobots are meant to be all together, and all together they look fantastic in both robot and Dino mode. But if you look at the figures individually, they could be so much better if they didn't have the combiner stuff. But both modes, they do get away with it very, very well. I just kind of, I can't help feeling that the whole combined thing for these guys was a bit unnecessary, and they could have been so much better, and they could have been perfect. But with the Siege line here, which obviously very quickly took over from this line, I feel like this line wasn't around all that long before Siege just came in and is all of a sudden redoing all these characters again in a better way. I kind of feel like Siege is really going to do these guys absolutely perfectly, because those guys look even more great and G1 inspired. So I have to say, I cannot wait. If this is going to be improved for Siege, then hell, I cannot wait for Dinobots. There's not all that many Dinobots out there, to be totally honest, so it is basically the best Dinobots that have ever been released, besides third-party stuff, and besides the actual G1 Dinobots. But These guys are amazing. They look fantastically G1 accurate, and they're just absolutely awesome, and I definitely do recommend them. And whilst I'm saying, obviously, you know, they do have constraints because of being combiners, and I wish that they weren't combiners, the fact that you do have that extra bit of playability, and the fact that they are toys and are meant for kids, obviously, that means more than anything. So the fact that they can combine is incredible and still look this good. That is awesome. So we will see just how good that combiner is once we've reviewed all the others in this line. But that is it from me today, so thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like. There's some other videos on the screen right now if you want to watch some more, and there's some links in the description below to my social media. For more Transformers, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.